Alright, welcome to the Distract. Hey dude, I'm fucking talking here. Welcome to the Distractcast. We're gonna be talking about the Microsoft conference. The one where Microsoft pulled out a gun and shot themselves in the mouth. I guess, you know, top of the show, they came out just throwing numbers and specs and stats at us, and the crowd was all eating it up because they knew exactly what they were hearing.
Yeah.
And they were able to,
you know, visible, like, it was like, was it like 2.2 gigahertz, 6 quad-core CPU, sorry, octa-core CPU, and they were like, woo! And then it was like 12 gigabytes of GDDR5 RAM, and they were like, that's awesome. And then they were like 6 teraflops of GPU compute crap, and they were like, oh my god, that's amazing. And then they were like,
hit them with that bandwidth memory.
Yeah, 326 gigabytes of bandwidth, and they were like, oh, what? And then they got like, you know, it was like, we do real 4K. Real 4K.
They keep saying native 4K. They're
4K.
the only ones who can do it on the most powerful console ever made in 2017.
Mm-hmm. And the smallest console made, not really in 2017 because Switch is smaller, but you know,
smallest, most powerful console.
Smallest, most powerful console ever
and it
made.
looks like a fucking PS2.
Yeah, it looks like a PS2. If somebody was trying to like model a PS2 in a 3D modeling program, but they didn't want to do all the ridges.
Yeah.
So they just sort of, and then they put the disk drive underneath the part that hangs over.
Yeah.
Which scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But they didn't tell us the price. They saved that.
Yeah, they saved that little gem at the end, and I missed it because I was talking to my brother about something else, and I was told that they sort of announced it in a cough.
Yeah. It was like $4.99.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least they didn't do it with like extreme amount of pride.
They didn't pull a Kazurai.
Yeah.
$599.99.
Yeah.
You just feel
$599 US.
You just feel the air come out of the fucking room.
Like,
and someone's just like, "You're dead."
I remember that conference that year. Like the whole place was huge. Like it just was a huge conference. Like it felt like the air could be nothing but cold air in there because like just breath wouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Right. And like I'm like, oh my god, this is so fucking like and I was hearing specs for that system like crazy. They said a teraflop like back then.
Yeah, yeah.
And they said like you can record Blu-rays on it.
4D.
Yeah, like 4D graphics. They had like something like they had 2 Ethernet ports and like 6 USB ports. And they were just going fucking crazy. They had that shitty controller, like all that stuff.
We have the world's shittiest controller.
It
You
looks
don't
like
believe how shitty it is.
It looks like Sega made it. Like, and then they're just like $599 US. We could say that Microsoft did a far better job in every way than
they did a better job announcing it, but in essence they did the same shit.
Yeah, they did the same shit, and they're not in the position to do that.
Yeah.
If they were in Sony's position and they said this, they'd be like, be far better. Like, if they had the market share, and whatnot, market share lead, and they didn't have Windows, because that's the thing that really kills it. Like anything that is exclusive to them is not really exclusive to Windows. Yeah. Which is good for the people who don't want to, buy it, but it's not good for
your
them.
console.
Like Microsoft has this whole strategy, even with the Surface. Like you're trying to sell people Surfaces, right? They mainly want to like present a goal for third parties. Yeah. Like so that third parties can make a better Surface at a cheaper price, right? In this case, I could only assume they're trying to do the same thing with PCs, but it's not a PC, which makes it weird. Like, if you're like, here's the Xbox One X, and, if Konami wants to release a cheaper one, they can do that sort of thing. Then that makes some sort of sense, but, I mean, overall as a strategy, that sounds like shit. But, yeah, like, this is a really cool system. I love everything I hear about it, with the exception of the price. Even though that price is decent for what it is. But it's just, I don't see it changing anything. Like, you still have to develop for the Xbox One if you want to, like, if you want to develop for the Xbox One X and all this stuff. So like, I don't know.
Yeah, like for me, it comes down again to the software. If did you see Anthem gameplay demo?
I saw a screenshot.
Okay, well,
and I clearly must have seen some whatever was shown off at the Microsoft thing, but I just don't remember it off the top of my head.
it was the very last thing.
Oh, I was talking to my brother.
Oh,
So
okay.
I missed it.
It was it looked like Iron Man, sort of, like it was a dude flying around and shit in the jungle.
No, I totally remember this now. Yeah.
And he went like underwater. And
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, like, so apparently that and the Metro Exodus, that was the first Xbox One X thing they showed.
That was
with like the giant rat mutant and shit.
Yeah, that was the one that I thought had the music from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it does have 20.
So that was running off a PC with similar specs.
Okay.
And apparently Anthem, I could have sworn that it was like, this is running on Xbox One X, but apparently Anthem was not, like, might have not been running on Xbox One X either.
I don't think that there is a 6 teraflop AMD GPU currently out. I think they're using stuff from unreleased GPUs. Well, they definitely are. They're using, but like, because it's also, it's 6 teraflop, it's really 12 half precision teraflops as well. But regardless, if you don't understand the original stuff, you're not going to understand that little tidbit. But like, the funny thing is, it means that those were made for NVIDIA cards.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, which is interesting. I mean, I might be wrong about that. I'm pretty sure the RX 580, I don't think it's 6 teraflop. I could check.
Well, the thing is, like, I just needed one game that was one game that I could only play on that console to really sell me on it.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't. Like, Anthem is not exclusive at all. Like, it'll come to PC and PS4. Like, it might have a marketing deal, but that doesn't really mean
jack shit.
Yeah.
Anybody.
No, actually, it works.
No, that totally
It fucking works.
Yeah.
Like,
there are people who only figure out about stuff through commercials and stuff. And
yeah.
Even if the logos are on the bottom for other things, if the picture of your console is first and
there.
foremost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in a Target once looking at Blu-rays.
Mm-hmm.
And these two people walked by, and this dude's like, "Man, I really want to buy Fallout 4, but it's not coming out on PC." And then his friend, she was like, "Oh yeah, like I think it's Xbox only." And he's like, "Man, that sucks." And I'm standing there and I'm going like, I could correct these people. Because it is not only coming out on Xbox.
Yeah.
Xbox just has a marketing deal with them. And I was like, no, I don't feel like it. I don't want them to play Fallout.
Yeah. I'm saving them some trouble.
But no, like, that shit fucking works. Like, same thing with Titanfall 2. It's a great FPS. And I wish more people would have bought it and played it.
Happened with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I bring that shit up to people, and they're like, "Oh, what do you play it on?" I'm like, PlayStation 4. It's like, "Oh, I thought that was an Xbox like exclusive franchise." Like, no, they just had the first one. It was on PC and it was on the 360.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the first one. They're like, "Yeah, whatever." Like, there's people out there who think Destiny 2 is PlayStation only, because that's the only place they see Destiny shit.
Yeah.
And so,
that's sad.
So that shit works, but to get back on track.
I mean, and it's one of those things that's weird, because by agreeing to something like that, yeah, you're I'm sure the console holder is like, or owner, whatever you want to call it, platform holder, is putting some money into your own marketing campaign. Yeah. Yep.
Like they're covering that.
But at the same time, you're losing potential sales because people who have the Xbox One and will be like, "Oh, it's only on the PS4," then they're not buying.
Yeah.
So it sort of kills things a little bit, unless you plan on marketing it after the exclusive, the market, whatever.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me find your thing.
But they did have some other cool shit to show. They had Forza 7. When that was first shown, they showed like a desert and stuff, so I immediately just started guessing random shit. I was like, oh, it's Assassin's Creed. And because I saw a fucking camel.
I made a joke in my mind that it was Uncharted.
they got Uncharted.
Yeah.
But it's Uncharted 3.
Yeah, it's Uncharted. No, it's what's that rip-off Uncharted game?
Unearthed.
Unearthed. Yeah, they got Unearthed.
Trial of Ibn Battuta or some shit.
The Trial of... Wow, you got that.
We have the Trial of Ibn Battuta. It's exclusive on Xbox and...
That would be amazing. They just remastered it.
This isn't working.
It isn't working?
No. The thing about, like... I understand using racing games to show off your new hardware. It's been, like, a thing for years. But...
I wanted to say since the PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
But
But racing games have really been hit with like diminishing returns. Like they look good enough now. Like it still doesn't work.
Fucking A.
Trying to get my phone to charge.
Yeah.
Like I figured that out when like Forza 5 like they were talking about that and they're like the car is so detailed now that we don't try to just make a perfect facsimile of the real world counterpart. We actually add imperfections, such as, no car is painted exactly the same way. Some have different slight imperfections underneath the layers of paint, which we've created in Forza Motorsport 5. So I'm sitting there and I'm going like...
You're going to see from outside the car going at like at least 60 miles per hour at all times.
Yeah. Yeah, it's this thing that's not worth a damn thing. It's like, we have the hardware now, so... I guess we should do that.
Yeah.
Like, we should put the imperfections.
I've seen mobile phone games that have cars that look pretty goddamn good. Like,
yeah.
So,
I don't know. It's... Whatever. And then we saw actual Assassin's Creed footage. Not on a fucking monitor.
Yeah? I'm forgetting now. Because honestly, the moment from the...
Did you watch the Microsoft conference?
I did. I watched most of it with you. But the...
Not the Microsoft one.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Well, I'm going to cut this out. Anything Assassin's Creed related, like, I tuned out after the moment when they just showed a dark monitor in the Ubisoft one. Like, that's
all you remember.
Yeah, that's what they did. They made me think of like a really stupid moment, and that like eclipsed the actual.
Oh, I see what you did there.
What did I do?
Eclipse dark monitor.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Trying to make you seem smarter than you. Ori and the Will of the Wisp, the Ori sequel.
Okay.
That looked pretty rad.
Yeah, it did.
Should get around to buying that first one.
Mm-hmm.
Minecraft is fucking getting like a
redo. Well,
there's a super duper graphics update.
Yeah.
Which adds lighting to the game.
Yeah. Essentially.
And fucking a unified server platform, I guess. With the
exception of
PlayStation,
PS4,
which wants to protect its users
by keeping it only on their crappy servers.
Yeah. I wonder if that is it. Like, they know their security is so vulnerable that it could jeopardize other companies' servers. So they're like, fuck it, we're not even gonna deal with that headache.
Like really not. Like, it's really vulnerable at that point. Like,
dude, it's fucking Sony.
I understand.
Like maybe that's it. Like, they're the ones that have the STD, so they don't want to go to the orgy.
Well, they're being responsible.
Yeah. So why blame Sony?
But it seems like one of those things where it's like, at that point, Microsoft is willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
To just help you in your OS, not fix your stuff because that's your own thing.
Yeah.
But like in your OS, build in a way to just circumvent it for the purposes of this.
Yeah.
Like, they will do that. They work really hard. But it's too bad that it's only 4K Blu-ray that's making me want to get their stuff.
And would you even give a shit if you didn't have a 4K television?
Yeah, here's the thing. One of the reasons I might still buy a PS4 is because the Xbox One X would be downstairs.
Yeah.
And we're the only place where there's a 4K screen.
Yeah.
That's HDR as well. Meanwhile, up here, I just upgraded to 1080p on a screen that's like 4 years old already. I don't know what to do about the charger.
What else did they have? Cuphead's fucking coming out finally.
Yeah, it's what, 3/3s?
Yeah. But my whole thing with that is like...
That's coming to Windows?
Probably. Like, it was a boss rush mode first.
Yeah.
And then people were like, wait, this isn't a platformer? It should be a platformer too. And then Microsoft was like, alright, here's some time and money, make it a platformer too. And they're like, yeah, about that. Every frame is made by hand. It's like, okay. That's gonna take a while. So yeah, that's why it took so long. Someone's drawing all those fucking frames by hand. But it's a beautiful ass game, and it's almost finished now.
I wonder how big it's gonna be. Like,
file size?
Yeah, file size. Like, if there's a potential that they're doing things in a slightly inefficient way.
Yeah.
Or, potentially hugely inefficient way. Like, is this thing gonna be like a little tiny ass game that's like 10 gigs? Like...
Well, that one's gonna be 4K too, right?
Yeah, so they have to upgrade the... I'm pretty sure it would just be like, okay, finer grain. But like, if they're talking about sprites when they mean that, then that's one thing. But if they're saying like they're doing some sort of hugely inefficient way of, I don't know.
Oh, it is charging now, I think.
Oh, good.
Sea of Thieves. I was expecting another game from Rare, and I almost thought Super Lucky Tail was Conker, so I guess that counts.
Yeah. Yeah, I really did think it was Conker at first. I'm like, are they redoing Conker? He's cute. Like, but it'd be weird because it'd be redoing Conker as what he was originally supposed to be.
But remember when they fucked with us with Conker?
Everybody remembers that. Everybody fucking remembers that. It's like, oh my god, Rare's doing the thing we want them to do. And then they're like, no, we're announcing him in our project that we can't tell anybody on. That the only thing I ever saw from it was a shitty Sonic fan game, and then they closed it.
Because of the Sonic game.
Yeah, probably.
What do you think about Sea of Thieves? What's your...
It actually looks really fun.
Would you play it on Windows 10? Do you want to be part of my pirate crew?
Yes, I'll be
What's your pirate name?
Butt pirate.
I'm trying my best to avoid saying that, but you went straight into the hole.
Booty man.
Ass man.
I don't know. It's but no, I would totally play that on Windows 10.
Yeah.
It's not something that's going to sell me on a console.
Yeah.
Apparently 4K Blu-ray playback, which I don't know anything that's out on 4K Blu-ray, like off the top of my head.
Logan.
Okay.
A lot of Disney hasn't jumped in, but a lot of studios have.
I'm gonna need a Blade Runner 4K.
Okay.
You know.
That'd be beautiful.
But yeah, I'd totally play it on my PC. Like, I.
Did you see the new just as a tangent? Did you see the new Blade Runner trailer? Blade Runner.
Yes, I did. I don't know if it was one newer than the.
There was the tease, and then there was like a longer one.
Like Batista in it and shit.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, I did, and I don't know what to think about it. I think for the most part, I'm very iffy because it lost almost all of the visual appeal that the original film had.
Really? That was the one thing everyone was saying.
I thought some of the scenes that looked like the original film got it down, and even the stuff that was like, with the orange light and shit.
Yeah, the desert.
But then they had just like stuff in like just gray ass rooms where they like pulled like color out of things.
Oh, you're not talking about the building with the androids in them.
possibly. Like, there were parts of it that just looked like a Bourne film or something,
Okay.
and that bothered me. I was like, no, this whole thing's got to look like fucking cyberpunk as fuck. Like,
what you think about Ryan Gosling? I know the Red Letter Media guys put in on his look.
When I first watched it, I was more so looking at at their stylistic choices and whatnot. And I was disappointed, and then they've released that thing, and then after I watched it again, I couldn't help but see that he just wasn't emoting at all.
Yeah.
So he better be a replicant if he can pull that shit. But yeah, I'm not down with it. I would have preferred it. I would have taken that was a game. Was it last night or whatever that was announced at this conference? I would have preferred if they just said like, okay, this is the official Blade Runner 2. It's like what they did with Ghostbusters.
Oh, okay. You know? It's a game.
Yeah, like I would have preferred that.
Well,
I think at the moment.
Well, CD Projekt Red is working on a game called like Cyberpunk 2077 or something.
Right. Yeah, I've heard of that.
And like they're working with one of the guys who like created the cyberpunk genre, or at least the tabletop RPG.
Okay. Oh, so he probably worked on like Shadowrun or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but we gotta get back to Microsoft because they're still here.
That's a franchise I'm almost surprised I haven't seen anything out of Microsoft.
Shadowrun?
Yeah, Shadowrun seems like a Microsoft sort of thing.
Shadowrun, there's 2 PC games that were like kickstarted that were like pretty successful.
Yeah, but that's something I'm surprised like Microsoft isn't funding.
Oh, they closed that fucking studio down after they turned it into FPS. So that's like a classic Microsoft move.
I forgot that was that was an Xbox game.
Yeah,
people liked it.
I liked it.
Yeah, people liked it, just not the Shadowrun community.
Yeah.
That's a classic example of a terrible idea. Like
Crackdown 3.
Crackdown 3
with Terry Crews.
Yeah,
brought some
energy to that.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, I don't know if you remember, like a few years ago they announced it, and they're like, "This is a game
with the destruction."
Yeah, everything is destructible.
Yeah.
So you can level an entire city block or entire city.
Yeah, and they were showing some impressive stuff with cloud computing, and it was stuff that I was like, "Well, I'm not gonna trust that at all."
Yeah. Well,
my internet goes down sometimes.
Apparently, because of your lack of trust, they've pretty much scaled back entirely on that. They're not showing it at E3, but they claim that's only in the multiplayer mode now. Okay,
that makes all sense in the world.
Yeah, I guess from a design standpoint, in single player, how the fuck does that work?
Yeah.
You give your player a target, and they're in a building. They're just gonna keep chipping away at that building until it topples over.
Like, I know I would.
Yeah.
I would just try to test the limits of that, and everybody would be at the same time.
Yeah. And the server would be eating shit.
Yeah.
But I'm a big Crackdown 1 fan. It's cool that this is coming out with the Xbox One X, but graphically it doesn't look like it's really pushing the limits of the system or whatever.
That would be one of those enhancements that'd be nice to have with the Xbox, especially single player mode. If there's you don't have to worry about balance for like multiplayer shit. They could, instead of going, oh, we're gonna do 4K, instead use like GPU compute to try to get at least something similar to what they were showing off with the cloud compute stuff in single player mode. I don't think you could get exactly that, but a reasonable facsimile.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And Terry Crews is apparently in it.
Yeah.
He's one of the characters. So.
Yeah. They said he was in it, and people were like, oh, I think he was just in that ad. Then, like, the guy working on it was interviewed, and he was like, yeah, he's in it, but, like, we're not talking about how, and then...
He's a building.
Yeah, he's just a building. He yells at you. And he's just, like, his mouth is one of the lower floors, and you just see it just like, hey, Old Spice.
He's just a screaming building.
Yeah.
Did you see the Middle Earth stuff? With, like, that sassy orc?
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that orc, but it took me a while to realize it was Lord of the Rings because I'm like, that's a fucking sassy orc, you know?
Yeah, that's not even like considered anywhere near canon anymore because of how much it fucks with it.
Oh yeah, when you have an orc just going like I'm not too good with black tongue or black speech, but you know, I think he wants to kick our ass. Like, you know, like I'm like, I love you too much as an orc.
Yeah.
Like it's like you're supposed to be this dumb piece of shit, violent asshole that was.
Well, he was before.
Yeah,
before
but like
the Ranger and Celebrimbor took his mind over.
Yeah, but like they gave him a good personality. They made him like that robot that was the only good thing about Rogue One.
Yeah,
you know,
K2SO.
Yeah, K2SO.
You remember him so much, you remembered his name.
Oh yeah, I hate the film.
Yeah, like
there's like some guy who's watching this and he loves Bethesda.
He loves
Rogue One inspired him to start filmmaking.
He loves Fallout.
Yeah, he loves Fallout, and he's loading bullets into a gun right now.
And he's pushing the barrel up against his temple.
No, I was thinking he was going after us, but he's just shooting the screen.
I said his temple.
Yeah, and he's super looking forward to Blade Runner 2.
Yeah.
Blade Runner 2046.
I don't know, it's one of those ones.
It's a random.
Yeah, no, Middle Earth is the Nemesis system. Every villain, every enemy you encounter, if they survive the encounter, they remember you and will come back and try to kill you at any random time.
Okay.
And if they do kill you, they rank up.
Could you imagine if a TV series was like that? Like at random parts like of a show, all of a sudden like an old nemesis is just like crawling over to you with like a gun and he wants to shoot you.
You mean every episode of Walking Dead ever made?
Oh well, I stopped watching that. I watched like 2 episodes of that, and I was like,
Yeah.
And this guy watching our podcast is just like
Walking Dead.
He's like, what are you doing,
motherfuckers?
It's like they know me and hate me. No, that's a shit. Like it's not shit. There's worse things in the world, but
there's famine.
As far as
there's
things
poverty.
As far as things that clearly wrote themselves to never stop.
Yeah.
That is among the worst offenders.
Yeah. But the point I was trying to make before he started shitting on this poor guy's entire identity.
Yeah.
I don't understand why the Nemesis system hasn't been stolen. It's such an interesting idea.
Yeah.
And especially in open world games. I wonder if Warner Brothers has some type of patent on it.
Well, I'm sure that was the result of one person going like, guys, I came up with a new idea. You know, It feels like everything is just sort of, a lot of things in video games now are finding ways to implement systems that were implemented in other games in a way that works well for your type of game.
Yeah.
When this is something entirely different, it's like trying to look at the concept of war and people's sense of revenge and then going like, we can build a gameplay mechanic around that because we have realistically oodles of fucking power and memory at this point.
Yeah.
Any game system, maybe with the exception of the Switch, but like any game system at this point should be capable of just some of the most complex gameplay and AI.
Yeah.
Considering that the PlayStation 2,
the emotion engine.
Yeah, that on like one chip was doing graphics and AI, and
we've
had
talked
32
about
megabytes of RAM, and they're doing the same shit.
We've talked about this before, like the huge jumps in like textures, resolution, frame rates, but not in stuff like AI.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see.
AI are just layered. I mean, what we're talking, Nemesis system is AI, right?
Yeah.
But like, it feels so much less complex than you'd think when it comes to AI. It's just like, a reputation system. Like they still exist in said worlds, and they are angry at you. Like it's.
But there's a uniqueness to it though. Mm-hmm. Like, if you fight a dude that like has a weakness to like rear attacks.
Okay.
And he survives a fight, runs away. Next time you'll fight him, he'll have armor on his back.
Okay.
And like he'll have a unique name. Like it creates like in an open world game like really sort of like different experiences for different players, I guess.
Is there like you can make sure that you completely leveled the battlefield and like that you don't like if you're in a battle you make sure that everybody's dead, like you can do that, right?
I'm not sure. I'm sure there's some cases where like to teach you how it works.
Okay.
They'll like force one of them to run and you'll never catch them. Like you might not be fast enough.
Because that in itself is worth it. Like just to,
there was a dude in the first game that fucking lured every enemy on his nemesis screen, like from like a low captain to like the highest lieutenant into one area, and he fucking killed them all at once. And like he went into the screen and you just saw all of them gone.
Wow.
Yeah, that was fucking bonkers. Then this was something I was actually super excited about. They talked about their backwards compatibility.
With the OG Xbox.
Yeah, but now with the OG Xbox, and it supports the discs.
Oh, it does. Okay, good.
Which is,
but we don't know the extent of it, right? Like, is it all?
No, they only announced that one game, but that's still bonkers to me. Like,
yeah.
I put an old Xbox game disc in my Xbox One X.
That's a thing that I think people undervalue. You know, I mean, clearly because for years people have been like selling their old systems and getting a new one, despite the fact that backwards compatibility was like not a thing for a while. Like, but yeah, that would be fantastic, like, and then that gives you, it sounds weird, but if you made a system that from the get-go had backwards compatibility, that in theory still allows like stores to just have those old games on shelves.
Yeah.
Like, and they can still make money off of them. Like, if you're fucking, if you were making a game on the PS1, especially people who like, okay, let's say you were making a game on the PS1, and oh shit, I didn't know they were about to announce the PS2, right? Like, you're not going to move development over because you're so far along, right? Then you got to be at the tail end of the PS1 while all the hype's of the PS2. Well, then you can still sell it to people and it'll play on PS2s and stuff like that. At the same time, if you're a PS2 owner and you were like, what fucking
Final Fantasy 9.
I was gonna say Final Fantasy 9. I'm not sure how 99 2000. So yeah.
No, PS2 was being promoted. I remember.
Yeah.
9 wasn't. We was just out.
Yeah, and Spirits Within was advertised in the back cover. But like, yeah, it'd be like, wait, FF9 came out on the PS1?
Yeah.
I have a good thing.
Yeah.
They can play it, Like, that's a huge
thing. I finally went to Gamers Paradise the other day. A local game place that gets it's awesome in there.
Yeah, a lot of retro games.
You pay $6, you get to play whatever console, whatever game you want.
Yeah, they have this huge setup
for an hour.
Six TVs or whatever, and they even have an old the guy was telling me Gaetano, I think is his name, or Gaetano, I don't know, but he they have an NES like store cabinet, like from back in the day when like stores would have, and like he mentioned, he's like, there's like 4 known ones in the world still, and we have one of the only working ones.
Wow.
Yeah, so they put some effort into collecting like shit, and they make it playable at the store.
Yeah, no,
you literally can pull any game off the shelf and play it in there.
Yeah,
so that's amazing.
Yeah, and like I was in there, and this was after the conferences, and I was looking at the Xbox games, the original Xbox games, and I was like, which one
feeling nostalgic a little bit, right?
Yeah, like which one did I sell? And I have no guarantee it'll play on Xbox One X. My original Xbox crapped out. That's why I made the move to the 360 right at launch. And I was just looking at a bunch of them. And I'm like, fuck, like, there's, I could play these one day again,
Yeah.
like on a newer.
Luckily, Phil Spencer said that he's looking to bring.
Phil Spector.
Yeah, he's looking to bring Xbox backwards-compatibility to Windows 10.
Which Xbox backwards?
Xbox
OG?
OG. Yeah.
See, like that's.
We're at a time where Microsoft's trying real hard and
Yeah.
doing good things with it, but it's
Yeah.
just not beneficial to their console division.
Yeah, because Sony went through the same thing. They really got humbled by that $599 US dollars, and then they were like, okay, PlayStation Plus, you're gonna get some free games with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they started this movement towards like, okay, we gotta win back the goodwill, and Microsoft's doing that like at full force.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it was such a fucking shot to the heart when they were like, $499 US dollars.
Yeah. Like, I was totally expecting them to go $399, even though I know that it would have been really hard.
Yeah.
I was like, they're going hard on this. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't have to make it smaller than the Xbox One S. Like,
Yeah.
but they did.
Yeah, I
like-
looked at it, I was like, this is the total package. It just needs that price tag.
Yeah.
And it's gonna hit like it I don't know if it was gonna fly off the shelves, but I knew it was gonna.
$499, I think, would have made it competitive with the PS4 brand.
$399, you mean? Right?
Sorry, $399. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah,
would
with the
have-
PS4 brand. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Like,
Because right after that, people were like, "Oh, Sony just has to Sony just has to have a conference to win."
Yeah, because
if there is any winning
because
to
everything
E3.
is. If you're looking at it from the concept of like, where can I play my third-party games, and have them look the best,
Yeah.
and you're not into the PC thing,
Yeah.
like you're gonna be like, okay, it's PS4, so, as far as base level stuff, but when you're looking compared to price, so the Xbox One S is currently $200, then at $250, MSRP I think is $300, but $250, the PS4, you can get a PS4 with the Uncharted 4 for $250 right now. Then at $300, the only thing there is the Switch, which is completely out of the in the wrong spot if you're.
Yeah.
And then for $400, you have the PS4 Pro, and then the Xbox One X is at $500, and that's the order in which they are capable of stuff, and they're all the same exact architecture, so like all comparable and shit, with the exception of the Switch. Like there's nobody needs to move except for Nintendo, but like like nobody needs to move if you're looking at it from that perspective. Like everything is priced where it should be at the moment.
You're talking about like value for performance.
Value for performance, and the only reason I say performance is because of how that affects games. You're going to get, your Witcher in 1080p on your PS4 versus 900.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the only reason I say that. I'm not saying that you gotta fucking value the performance of the systems. If you want to buy the Switch or you want to buy the Xbox, I don't care. I'm just saying, as far as price is concerned, nobody's being pushed to do anything.
Yeah.
Like, I turned on my camera on my phone by accident.
Wow, you're a sick man.
I am. Nobody's ever done that before.
Like, I was watching this, like, it was a BBC interview with Phil Spencer right after the conference. And he was going in hard on him. He was like, where's the VR? You said there was going to be VR. Sony sold 1 million VR headsets. Like, you could even tell Spencer was like, wow, okay, this dude's fucking going right for the jugular.
Yeah.
And, he threw out his, like, mixed reality, and it's a better experience on PC with all the fucking wires and shit.
He could have sold the numbers on, like, they sold 60 million PlayStation 4s, though.
Yeah.
So they sold a 60th.
Yeah.
Like,
And then the question came up about, like, who is this $499 console for? And he was like, look, we have these hardcore players that buy all the games, all the accessories, all the consoles. And he's describing this, this type of consumer.
This type of consumer, which is either a celebrity or doesn't use their money on food when they should be.
Yeah.
Like a really just rampant
Yeah.
You know,
Like
what he's describing there. I'm not saying that is the demographic. Anybody
Yeah.
who values 4K,
Yeah.
4K screen, that is probably something you're looking at.
Yeah.
But what he's describing is not making a good case, I don't think.
Yeah, what he described, the first word that came to mind is whale.
Hmm?
Whale is a term used for those people who buy into microtransactions.
Oh.
Like there'll be like a new Overwatch event, and they don't play Overwatch, they only collect the skins, so they'll drop $200 to $300 just on loot boxes.
Wow. Is that diagnosable?
It should be,
like,
because you don't know how money works at that point.
Like,
or you don't really give a fuck, which is fine, whatever.
Yeah. But if you're like a person who is starving now because of this, then
but when someone asks you like, who'd you make this console for, and you say, essentially it's for the whales, the people we know.
Yeah.
Like if we had put our X on top of a box of
Wheaties.
that
priced at $1,000.
That tasted like used condoms. Like, I don't know if that's a compelling argument to say.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we know what audience we're going for. We're going for the audience that was gonna buy shit anyway.
They could have said that we want to be there for the people who are adopting 4K.
Yeah.
Because 4K is a thing that's becoming super cheap.
Yeah.
Like, if I didn't get this TV, I'm pointing to a 1080p TV from like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
If I didn't get that, I was going to wait a little longer and spend. I swear I saw a 4K screen for like $400, $500. It's not that much money. Like,
what size?
I think roughly the same size the last one was, so like
32
inch, 36 inch, something like that.
Yeah, no,
I think 36.
The adoption rate is there, definitely. I get that. A lot of people want to justify the purchase of those monitors or televisions.
You could say it's almost the same people who would buy like really expensive surround sound systems.
Yeah,
you know, they want the premium, because like it has almost no downfalls. Like you get the best quality games, like performance wise. It has 4K Blu-ray, like it supports surround sound, it supports it has a really
Dolby
good
Atmos, it supports
FreeSync.
sync.
It's FreeSync. Yeah, that's really cool.
Like it's very future proof. You're getting a very future proofed device.
And it's so small. Like the fact that it's small means that like you can have it out of the way for a lot of people, and it's black, so it fits in like shadowy areas.
I feel like it's a slate gray.
It's a slate gray, which
is
works.
it's a very
it's a
unique look.
Tone. Like there's so much it has for it, but you have to say like, no, it's the people who, you know, and those aren't whales. They're not. Sorry, we had like a little moment where we thought everything stopped recording. Yeah, Microsoft hacked into his Windows and tried to... Well, you know what it is? I actually have all my network stuff going through Sony's, so... online infrastructure. Yeah, you know, I should have listened to them. They were trying to protect me, but... Yeah. From themselves. Yeah, from themselves. Yeah, my whole thing is like... They keep repeating this most powerful console, true 4K... even when the 1S came out, they kept calling it a 4K console. Yes. But not going all the way and telling less informed consumers that you're not playing games in 4K, you're watching movies in 4K, which I felt was a little scummy. And disingenuous. And now they're doing it with this because if a developer chooses, they can do checkerboard rendering. Yeah. They can do all that stuff, especially if they feel like it makes it somehow easier to port from. Yeah. I mean, I don't think. And PS4 Pro can do native. It's not very common, and you know. And will people notice the difference between things checkerboarded to 1800p versus native 2160p? Like, does it? Is it worth that $100 difference? Yeah, people will justify paying the $100 less, going like, "Well, I only noticed it very little." You know? Even though there are like artifacts, but realistically, most people won't notice. Yeah. Unless you work for Digital Foundry. Yeah. Well, Digital Foundry actually pointed out that they think that the Xbox One X is a good thing for the PS4 Pro because it means that games that don't have like pro modes or whatever. Will probably get pro modes
because of Xbox. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
like-
makes a lot of sense.
And they also think that maybe because currently the way the what's their like mode where they run games that don't have a patch on them at the specs of the
boost mode.
Boost mode. Yeah, boost mode currently just clocks to the previous to the clock rate of its of the pro mode, but it doesn't use all the cores. The GPU cores just uses half of them. So in theory, they could unlock that. But the other thing they can do is just for 1080p players, they could just have super sampling, and they think that because it's how Xbox does it, and I never would have considered doing it the way PS4 does it, because it makes no sense. Like, try to take advantage of it in every way possible, Like, they were like, because Xbox One does super sampling, just have the PS4 always doing its 4K mode, like, and then it just super samples onto 1080p.
Yeah.
If the game has a 4K mode, you know. Some of them, like what Tekken 7, only have you're unlocking 1080p by going to a pro mode to the pro mode.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's only 900p on the PlayStation 4 and 720p on the
Xbox One.
Yeah, and 240p on the Switch. I'm kidding.
It's 0p.
Yeah, it's 0p.
Because that game's never coming on
never
the
coming
Switch.
out on it. 240p is the exact resolution of the 3DS.
It'll come out on 3DS before Switch.
Yeah, 400 by 240p. That's 3DS there.
So, any other thoughts on Microsoft's conference?
I mentioned last night, which I think is that is the name of this. Literally, one of my friends went like, that's one of the only games you're looking forward to. Like last night, I'm like, I don't know what that is, and they were like, it's the Cyberpunk one. I'm like, oh, I really want to play that. I just can't remember that name, because it sounds like Metro Last Light and all this other crap. Like it's like that game you mentioned before that you said like people couldn't remember the name of it, and it's happening to me right now.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it either.
Was Legend in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, the other name is another common thing. But
what was your vibe though? What were you feeling?
The vibe?
Yeah, like
it's the Microsoft press conference feeling. Like it's just always solid. Anyone with Phil Spencer, because obviously 2013 when they announced the Xbox or Xbox One, that was all right, but you had a lot of Don Matrick in there.
Do you think they've rectified all the damage he's done yet, or they should just like?
Well, no.
I know you're not a console warrior, but do you think they should just call this generation a wash and just really focus on like, hey, let's come out on 9th gen or whatever it is, like really?
I mean, I don't think they should call it a wash necessarily. That's what happened with the Wii U toward the end. It feels like, but like, I don't think you can fix that, because there would be people at this point who would be playing Xbox Ones completely unaware of the fact that they're playing at 900p or something like that, right? If it weren't for the fact that the Xbox One out of the gate was getting bad publicity because of the stuff they were going to do with licensing, and when people were aware of that, they were already ready to hate on the Xbox One. Yeah. And then when they were like, okay, so we're fixing everything, everything, right?
But you still need the Kinect.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden, people who heard about this bad publicity looked it up. The 360 people, they looked it up, and then they found the forums where people were going like, but 8 gigs of GDDR5 and all this stuff, and then they were aware of how much less powerful it was as well. And then it's one of those things where it felt to us at that point that that bad publicity was a thing that people should know about, but most wouldn't. But I think it did bubble to the top. Yeah. Like very, very hardcore, and that's partly design choices, but then mostly because people were made aware of it because of that shit. So I don't think Phil can do that as much as he tries. So you think they're still underneath the shadow of that, in a way? Well, I don't think anybody's looking at it. Somebody just yelled "Ouya" outside. Somebody, an Ouya console warrior. But it's one of those things where I think nobody looks at Xbox One in that same light anymore, because Phil Spencer did like such a great job trying to just get rid of the whole console warrior thing in general. You know, like he's like, a lot of people love him even if they didn't buy the system he's touting. It's just that it's a matter of time, you know, like by the time that he was fixing things, they were already behind. Yeah. And at that point you get the word of mouth that is, you know, you can't stop. Yeah. And then it's, well, my friend has a PS4 because statistically he's more likely to have a PS4 than Xbox One, so I'm going to play with him. So the narrative came too late. The
narrative was too out of control already.
Yeah.
I do think it's a little bit of a case with him, and I like him too. He seems very genuine. Mm-hmm. I just feel like he can really talk the talk, but I haven't seen him walk the walk.
I guess, but he's not the best example of that. I don't
think. No, there's much worse examples of that.
Like Sony in 2006, 2007. Very much. Yeah. But and I also think when it comes to trying to push the Xbox brand, he does. I don't know how much the Play Anywhere thing is coming from the higher ups, or if it's his suggestion. Yeah. It's a brilliant suggestion. I like it, especially when you consider that he said before, you know, the Xbox hardware isn't what makes the money; it's the software. Yeah. So as long as you're selling the software and you have the brand name that works and whatnot, it's fine. But like, and I would never argue that somebody should be more of a corporatist asshole, but it probably would work for him if he could hide it. Like, if he can come across genuine like he is, and then going like, this is coming exclusively to the Xbox One, not the Xbox brand, and coming out for the PS4. Coming out for the PC, because that's what's.
Yeah, that's what undermines all of it.
Like, literally any single time I have like the little bit of an itch to get it, I'm like, oh, it's on the PC, like, and it just goes away completely. That you know, like, it's ointment for the itch. Yeah. But I don't want to give him shit for that, because like, I'd be telling him that he should do what he's doing now if he wasn't, you know, like, try to sell to, you know, your PC players as well. Like, I don't know, it's difficult.
So just to wrap it up, Phil showed you a good time, but he gave you gonorrhea. But you called him up and he gave you the cream. Yeah. So it's like, hey, you know, it was a good time. I got the itch, but you got rid of the itch too, so.
Yeah, they needed to be the PS4 of this generation. Like, they needed to be the powerhouse that got a fucking standing ovation for saying that they're not doing something. Like,
but they only got that because Microsoft set the table for them.
I know. They should have been that. They should have been something that they one-upped Sony on. I don't know what they could have
I think they're Trump. I think one of them was supposed to be the backwards compatibility. You know, Sony's not doing it. They're not listening to you.
They didn't even have it at first.
They didn't have it at first, and
that itself probably would have helped. They had a huge 360 demographic. Yeah. They had Don Matrick saying like, "We have a platform for the fucking idiot."
The optics were just like, garbage back then.
Yeah. It didn't help that Don Matrick looked like a fucking loser. Just wearing like cream-colored suits, and like he has like hair looks like it's out of the 80s. Like, he was like an 80s douchebag. Yeah. Like, he did not do any favors for anybody.
Yeah. But he helped the Zynga. What?
Aren't they in shit, like up Shit's Creek?
Yeah, they pretty much hired him, and then the company folded.
Yeah,
then,
like,
I
think what would make a lot of people happy, I'm sorry, not a lot of people happy, still wouldn't change their fortunes. Literally, they have to, pricing at 400 would have done something. And then going into next generation, they gotta like be what they are now. Like, they need to be the company that they are now, making hardware that's.
I think the key is a strong first party portfolio. That's where you're gonna get exclusives. I think they gotta loosen the reins on the studios that are pumping out Forza and Halo and Gears,
they gotta do,
and let them try different
they
IPs.
gotta use the stuff that people are nostalgic for. I know there's Halo and stuff like that, but Halo, I think, kind of, it's not what it was.
Yeah.
They need to go for that rare stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that would be huge.
Yeah.
Because then you're pulling in the Nintendo demographic. They're hard to pull in
Yeah.
different
In
directions.
different,
I can speak from first-hand experience. Like, especially considering, like, that was
Dude, the last few years, people were like Banjo.
Yeah,
they're doing another Bojo Kazooie.
Yeah. That's a company where, you know, they were a Western company that was doing really well under on a Japanese system, you know, the N64 and whatnot. Like, so they have some like mind share in the Japanese market, which not that that's gonna, but like, I don't know. I feel like the stuff that Rare has access to is the stuff that might stand out among some of the other stuff. Because like I said, when I watched this conference, I didn't say this on the podcast, but when I watched the conference, there was like 3 or 4 games in the middle that like all feel the same to me. I think they were zombie related.
Yeah. The State of Decay. Yeah.
Like,
no, there was definitely that, like, oh my god, like, is this fucking Left 4 Dead or Dead Island or Dead and Dying?
Yeah, something with Dead in it.
Yeah.
Like, it
very fucking derivative and...
Yeah, while as, you know, Sony has, like, the gamut of things. You
of
have
genres.
Yeah, you have, like, different genres, you have different art styles.
Yeah.
You have the stuff that is very American, the Call of Duty sort of things.
Yeah.
You have the zombie things coming to it. You have the super Japanese games. You have their, like, art film sort of games that they do first party. They have a lot, while as, like, something about Microsoft, like the feel of their thing still reminds me of when I was a kid, and like I was reading magazines, and I had no concept of like what was a Japanese game or whatnot, unless it was called like Suiko Den, you know, like, or it's obvious.
Is that how it's pronounced?
Suiko Den? Suiko Den. But like every once in a while, I'd be like looking at like these games that have like, you know, anime art styles, like FMVs, and like look nice, and then like you'd see like some cool stuff for the PlayStation, and then on the PC side, because it's before the Xbox, you'd see like Elder Scrolls, and everybody looked like they had cancer. like they all just looked really sick and stuff like that. And I still associate that with like Western like PC development, and the original Xbox definitely had PC games
like
on there.
Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, stuff. Baldur's Gate. I think of that all the time.
And
like
Face Cancer too.
But like this feels there's
there's definitely that vibe still.
Yeah, they need to break out of that in a really huge way.
I think
difficult.
I think their way. I think maybe getting some more European studios getting that vibe. I don't think they'll ever. It'll take a long time to get the foothold in Japan.
Yeah, like, give us the artsy vibe. Give us the Japanese stuff. I sound like a weeboo when I say like I like seeing the Japanese stuff. It just feels like the Japanese stuff more so than the Western stuff, with the exception of Square Enix, which is almost a Western company at this point, in my opinion. They do less in the way of like hitting those check marks for like what a game should have. Yeah. You know, they feel like that's one of the reasons that people were like, they're behind. Well, it's like because.
Well, that was the great tragedy of Scalebound. We have, you know, Platinum never loses its shine, right?
Yeah.
They're working on this game. It feels a little Western. But
overall,
it's still
like a Dante.
Yeah, you know, it's very much a fucking Dante dragon riding game. It's very much, it's got its personality, you know, it wears its heart on its sleeve. And then it's gone.
Yeah.
And then the rumors are saying it's because Microsoft's pushing for, you know, the check marks, online multiplayer, co-op. You know, if Platinum's pushing back against that and going like, well, let's just, you know, let's get what we do right. You know, like what we have experience, let's get with first, like get that done first, and then we can start hitting those check marks. And if, you know, there's no communication there or miscommunication, then like that's the biggest tragedy of that thing. Like they clearly gave enough of a fuck to put the time and money in pursuing an exclusive. That was coming to Windows 10 too.
Yeah.
But like, I would have fucking loved to have played that on the Xbox.
Yeah.
I would have. There's nowhere else I could play that.
Yeah, like that I think is what gets me the most. There's no franchise I have that pulls me in that much, and that's strictly subjective. But like, I just feel like it's a certain type of game that they have at their conferences. It almost feels like sometimes the color palettes match like the Xbox brand.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
just green and black.
Yeah, I just want something to really stick out. And I don't know. I want some fucking stupid melodrama or something. And when
personality.
And when it's wacky, I don't want it to be like, oh, I got a dildo in my hand, I'm gonna slap a zombie. like I need you to if it's gonna be wacky, make it like I don't know. Ni no Kuni has some, you know.
What'd you think of Sunset Overdrive?
Sunset Overdrive. Oh,
was that?
Wow, I forgot about that already. But yeah.
Okay, I guess that's your answer to that one.
No, like that looked nice and everything like that, but there was.
That had zombie stuff, I think.
Yeah, there's always like a degree to which they just can't let go of like these check marks, and sadly, zombie is a weirdly specific check mark that a lot of things hit now.
Well, zombie is good because you can do disgusting things to humanoid creatures.
Yeah.
And get away with it by saying, hey, they're not human anymore.
Yeah, but it's weird because the gameplay-wise, the zombie thing is no different from aliens or something like that. Like,
yeah.
It's a horde of aliens, just a lot of something that are just wandering around, and you could do that with.
But the aliens might have a consciousness or like, you know, a sentience or whatever.
You could make it some sort of like weird symbiotic,
like hive mind.
Yeah, hive mind thing, or it works like a jellyfish. It just reacts.
Yeah, no, you can get creative with it, or you can make
underwater FPS where you're fighting jellyfish creatures, like in the dark, in you know the depths of the ocean. Like, it sounds stupid, but you know,
it's called Splatoon. You fucking idiot.
That's not underwater, but like, could you imagine that? I don't know how well that would play, but imagine you're getting attacked from all sides, up, down, left, right, and bottom.
Yeah.
Like, that's terrifying, you know?
Yeah, I hate the fucking water.
And that's another thing. Like, the vastness of the ocean is scary as fuck, especially the darkest parts, and you see glowing shit coming at you.
Yeah.
Like, try that.
Yeah.
You know?
Mark just gave you something, Phil.
Yeah, just don't say like, oh, it needs co-op and it needs online play and all that shit. Doesn't need local just make it a single player game. I don't care. Like,
send the check in the mail.
Yeah, just, you know, I work for cheap. I get very little money. You can see by the views of this podcast. but seriously, like, that's an idea. I came up with that on my ass. It probably would work, but I don't want to put the time into that. You can do that. So
just give me the fucking money.
Give me the fucking. You know what? Give me an Xbox One X and some games. You know, like
the good ones.
The good ones. You can just listen to the podcast and try to gauge what those might be. But like
the Bethesdas.
Yeah, just give me some Bethesda games. I want that Skyrim remastered, and I will happily play catch with somebody with that. Some doggo.
Alright. Well, that's it for the Microsoft conference. I think we left on a good note.
Yeah, I think so.
Going back to shitting on Skyrim.
Yeah, we shat on Skyrim. But you see, I did something that I always tell people to do. I always hate when people criticize something and they have no suggestion of how to fix it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
no, that jellyfish thing is cool. I just think
I mean, it doesn't have to be jellyfish, but you know.
Yeah, no. Water stuff is always hard, even in film.
Oh yeah.
Just the physics of it.
Mm-hmm. So there's a challenge there, but you know what? If you get the challenge, that's guaranteed to be new, to be full.
Yeah, you know, it's not about always winning the race. Sometimes it's just about setting the pace. You know,
yeah.
Maybe someone else will come along.
And that's sort of the problem that Xbox had this generation. Perfect way I word it. Yeah. Like they didn't set the pace.
Yeah.
And because of that, they're behind.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they're left behind. So that's a perfect place to leave it.
Or they're too far ahead with the Xbox One X.
Yeah, they took a shortcut.
Yeah.
And they forgot that the race was on a Sunday, not on a Saturday. Now they have to pay for a $500 Uber home.
It's fucking beautiful.
Alright, we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in a couple seconds. Hopefully.
Hopefully you keep listening, you idiot.
One idiot. Okay, bye-bye.